Good afternoon, everybody. I've had several requests asking how to go through and actually view the accommodations that are currently in place, particularly for our students who are in RTI process. And I wanted to walk you through that process so that you can see what's going on. So let's start with the RTI because there's an extra level in there that will help. So if you come here to the button that says Interventions, we're going to start here. And over here you have several pieces of information. So let's start with the report, accommodations. We're going to start because of the campus we're on. And I'm going to start with 5th grade. I would recommend doing this grade by grade, and you'll see why in just a second. Okay, and this is exactly why. So here you see by scholar, these are the accommodations that are currently in place for this scholar. Depending on the subject, tells you everything you need to know. But here's the important thing to note. Notice when the last update for these accommodations took place. All of these here are from last year. So all these are from last year, which means these need to be updated by the scholar. Now, granted, this is about the time you would start through your RTI process for actual final decisions on your scholar. You can export this by simply hitting the export report. It will give you the document. And you'll see what accommodations are in place per scholar. To make it easier to read, sometimes what I like to do is, after I hit enable editing, is I like to set this to wrap the text. So it's a little easier to see which of these each one has. Now, this is not always the easiest to see, and it's not going to include everybody because it's specifically an RTI report. The one that I use more frequently, and I'm going to start back. I'm going to go back to my squares, go to Interventions, give it a second, and I am going to actually do the I can do the same thing for ELs. With the report, state assessment report. I'm going to go ahead and hit play. Now, again, these may not have been done. So the forms have not been sealed, so that's why those are not showing up just yet. But that's the other way to do that. So that's how you go through to see which of your scholars currently have that. Now, the other way to go through this, and this is a much more, it's a little bit more cumbersome, but it is actually a much better way, because what you really want to see is your individual scholars. So what we're going to do, we're just going to look at our special ed scholars for a moment, and let's do 4th grade now. And we're going to hit the play button. So now you see which scholars have which accommodations in place for those specific scholars. Now, to see the actual accommodations, you'll click on the button, and it will bring you to your screen, and you will find, and I always have to do this, the big hug one, state accommodations. So currently, for reading, it tells us we're taking it online. Individualized structured reminder, same thing with the math. So this one has been updated. So this is important that we see this, and this is under the special ed umbrella. So again, we're seeing the information coming through. And so once we're good with that, we would go back, find the next scholar as well. You can select specific scholars, multiple scholars if you want to, and look at the information that is provided. This is a shorter version, but if I wanted to see all three of those, I could go to the profile. Now notice I've got these three scholars. So if I go over to my hug section, I can see this one has no accommodations yet. Here are the accommodations for this scholar. And here are the accommodations for this scholar. So like I said, those are the 3 ways you can go in and look. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please give me a call.